I'm here at the 930 Club in Washington, D.C. with Fani and Jen from the band Girl in a Coma. Nice to see both of you.
Nice to see you.
Hey. Just to get this out of the way, Fani and Jen are both lesbians.
Yes.
Which is awesome.
Obvious. Yeah.
And I think that's really cool because your band is named after a Morrissey song. And I used to think it was only the queer gay boys that took a lot of comfort in Morrissey. So
no, we were pretty obsessed at one point.
So we're best friends, and we met in middle school, and then I think 9th grade we were just bonding over Louder Than Bombs, the Smith album, and it's got all the great songs on there, the hits. So
it's got all the hits.
It's got all the hits.
Okay, what are some of your favorite Morrissey songs?
Mine, the first one that I actually heard that got me really into him was Hairdresser on Fire. So then after that, I started listening to Viva Hate and then Smiths. And what's yours?
Oh, thanks. The first one I heard, of course, was from a video from Morrissey, and it was The More You Ignore Me, The Closer I Get. And I loved him. I loved the way he looked. I loved the way he was singing. I've always been a big Elvis fan, so I was like, oh, this dude, I love him.
This dude.
Maybe I'm not gay.
But the great thing about the Smiths and Morrissey is that every song you'll go through a phase of oh, this month it's Style a Cliche, or right now, Wonderful Woman is my favorite to hear. I've been hearing that a lot.
Okay, and then you two and your other band member who's not here just put out a series of cover EPs.
We did.
And first question to get the Morrissey out of the way. I noticed that he is not on it. Was that just too obvious a choice?
Exactly. That's exactly why we didn't do it. I mean, we're already Girl in a Coma, so we kind of wanted to show what we can do other than the obvious. We could have covered Joan Jett, or we could have covered...
Yeah, but it's also kind of it'd be not necessarily riding the coattail, but it's kind of oh, well, we're fans of him. We named our band after him. We toured with him. Nina gets compared vocally sometimes to him. So it's oh God, here's a cover,
yeah.
Maybe we used to do one live. We used to do a couple actually, but no.
Okay. And you mentioned Joan Jett in there as someone you didn't cover. What are some of the big queer lady icons to you that maybe got skipped over for this?
Oh, and I've always been a fan of Babes in Toyland, their drummer.
Bikini Kill song.
Bikini Kill.
Awesome.
Yeah. Bikini Kill would have been a good one. Cedar Kinney would have been another good one.
All right, but the ones you did do are also really exciting to me. Anyone that ever does a cover of Femme Fatale, I'll be excited about.
Awesome.
As well as Patsy Cline. How did you choose some of the people you decided to cover, and why?
A lot of them were either we were fans, I'm a Joy Division fan, and both Nina and I, or all three of us, Patsy Cline. It was just a combination of everybody's liking. And then after we chose these songs, in particular, for two reasons, was number one, to kind of show why Trio BC is the way it is. It's very everywhere. There's a rockabilly song, and then there's a ballad, and then there's a straight punk rock song. So it's kind of showing this is why we sound the way that we do. And also kind of educating kids on bands they might not know. There's a lot of people, especially up north, that don't know who Selena is. And I've even heard people, I'm Joy Division, they don't know who they are. So it's kind of well, here's these groups. It's an introduction to these groups, and also why we're doing what we do today.
Yeah, especially I did an interview over the phone, and they were in Canada, and they of course they didn't know very much about Selena. It's oh, it's y'all's Celine Dion to to Texas, I don't know, it's funny, but and then plus it was also what could we pull off, because we're dealing with our fans, and we're dealing with fans of the Beatles, Joy Division, David Bowie. We're getting critiqued from both sides, and it's okay, well, we can't mutilate this. It's really got to be good, but also, for instance, some of the bass lines I just ignored, the originals. I just didn't even listen to them, and then I just treated it as if Nina wrote that song. So that's why some of them are just completely different. Fani kind of did the same thing too. So yeah, and we just try to make them our own, which I think we did.
Cool. I also really like the idea of putting together kind of a compilation to show people where you're coming from. Do you think that a lot of people will be fans of yours, and you guys are often described as a punk band, without really knowing maybe some of the more classic roots of punk?
Right.
How does that feel if someone doesn't know Joy Division but loves you, for instance?
It's kind of weird, but it's kind of cool too, because we're just trying to keep a spirit alive. Like we're very punk rock rooted. We do a lot of stuff ourselves. We grew up listening to punk rock. So it's kind of cool for us to be able to show and remind people who don't know who these bands are, like, don't forget about these bands, because a lot of
especially now groups, because the music industry is so wacky right now, and it's even worse than before. I mean, I thought it was pretty bad, like, you know, early 2000s, but at least people were buying CDs then, barely. Now it's just so weird, like
it's just quick.
Now it's just, yeah, it's very fast, like, oh, okay, I got the song, downloaded it, next. Instead of it being, I bought the CD, I took it home. I saved up money, bought the CD, took it home, went through the artwork, read the song lyrics, and like really savored that song. And it's not really like that anymore, and it's really a shame. And I don't know what we're gonna do, but
does that mean there's less of a chance for an album to change your life the way that like Smith cement so many people?
I think that could end up happening. I mean, especially young. When I'm saying younger, I'm talking about like teenagers, you know, that are getting into
tweens.
You know, that it's gonna be sad, but they might not be able to say, well, this album, you know, they'll just be like, oh, I listen to blah,
this song.
Right.
Yeah, it's not necessarily an album.
This single changed my Tuesday.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah.
What do you think? What would be the thing to do about that besides trying to get people more involved with some of the other stuff from the past?
The best that we can do, us as a group, is we just doing this covers album, kind of reminding people, and just coming up with clever ways. Like Jen drew the artwork for the vinyl, which if you put all three together, make a board game.
We had another girl redraw it. Like I just kind of doodled it, and she did such an amazing job. And yeah, but I was like, man, how are we gonna get people to want to have this in their hands? And it was just like we were just eating dinner. I was like, let's make a board game. Like, you know, each third piece, like you connect them together. And as a matter of fact, we played it last night. I played it to make sure that it worked. It's not a lot. It's not like, oh, this board game is so much fun. It's not one. It's not like that. Yeah, she won, but we played it, and that's cute.
Awesome. Anything else you want to say to everyone out there?
More girl bands, please. Because like I was saying before, like how the music industry is so wacky right now. It would just be so rad, just from underneath. All of a sudden, there's a fucking bunch of, you know, all girl groups. Like when did this happen? I mean, and it's a perfect time to do it, especially with everything so weird. And we try to encourage as much as we can. I mean, we're not like role models or anything, but we do love to play music, and we do it, and I think that's good enough. So
awesome. Cool. Well, thank you both.
Thank you.